Okay, thank you. Thank you for this chance that has been given to me. Today, I am going to talk about communication techniques. And nowadays, communication is critical to success in business and life. First of all, let me ask a simple question. What is communication? If you ask 10 people what is communication, you will get 10 different answers. Communication is the active process of using words, sounds, signs, or behaviors to express or exchange information or to express your ideas, thoughts, feelings, etc. to someone else. Of course, I know this is a very broad definition, but it does manage to encompass everything that makes up the concept of communication. Actually, we have three kinds of communication: verbal communication, non-verbal communication, and written communication. That we are going to talk about verbal and non-verbal communication more specifically. Let me explain more about verbal communication. It consists of delivering information, let's say delivering your information by the use of the spoken word. However, nonverbal communication includes the use of body language and facial expressions, which is really interesting. Let me mention some techniques which are really helpful to have a great conversation. First, start with questions. Asking questions from your audience will help you to control the situation. Second, if you are nervous, tell that you are nervous. It helps to control your stress. And number three, you should make your audience more comfortable, and you will also feel more comfortable. And number four, be at the present. Don't think about anything else, and just think about what you're saying and what you're speaking about. Now let me explain you two useful structures, which are really important in order to have a great conversation. The first one is problem, solution, and benefit, which is very effective. And the second one is what, so what, and now what. It means that when you want to speak about a topic, or especially spontaneously, you have to ask yourself what it is and why it is important and what is the next steps. This is a wonderful formula for answering questions. The reality is that spontaneous speaking, when you are a spontaneous speaking situation, you have to figure it out two things: what to say and how to say, and it really helps you to answer the questions and speak fluency and without any stress. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it so much, and the topic was so great, and also
thank you so much.
More importantly, the presenter, the way you presented it.
That's kind of you.
All right, so questions and criticism, feedback.
In one of your sentences, you said that it does manage to encompass. I'm not sure about the usage of manage in this sentence, because when we say manage to do something, it means that something was wrong, and we had difficulties, for example, for solving that problem, and as a result, we can say that we must say that we managed to handle that. We managed to. But I'm not sure that in this sentence that RH used,
Hmm.
that was correct.
Well,
I'm not
manage, we cannot say that manage is used just for solving problems. You can manage your time, time is not a problem. So it's not completely, let's say, correct to say that manage is just used for problem solving. We have time management.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And there was some. I think there were some mistakes about the plural nouns that you used them mostly singular. For example, audiences. You said audience,
Hmm.
and body languages, and you said body language.
Audiences
And
is audience is better than audiences, because audience is a plural noun or
Really?
concept. Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot say audiences. Audience means a group of people.
oh, okay, I didn't know that. But just about body languages, I had the same
Hmm.
idea that, and
Anesh, did you say body languages?
No, I
you
said
said
body language.
Body language is correct. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
We
it's
don't have
correct.
body language is a mass noun, uncountable.
oh, it's okay. Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
body language is uncountable. No, please. Do not
And
think that
okay,
actually we are
and,
learning a lot, that's okay.
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what about the being at present? At the present, you said that be at the present.
At the present.
Yeah.
Yeah. At
It
the
means,
present.
yeah, as I mentioned before, it means that you don't have to think about anything else. You just have to focus on what you're saying at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I didn't find any fault with that.
And there was something else that I was suspicious about. And speak, you said speak fluency,
Yeah, that was wrong. Yeah.
and
Speak
also
fluently. Yeah. Thank you for
Fluently.
for
Yeah,
raising
actually,
that
I
point.
wasn't sure about that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great.
and there was something else, and you said what is the next steps?
Yeah.
And I think that was an indirect question, if I'm not mistaken. If it was if it was an indirect question, he should have said, for example, what the next steps are. But maybe that was a
Yeah, you're
direct question.
correct. Yeah,
Yes.
what the next steps are. You're
Yes.
correct.
Thank you. You were so attentive. I am really impressed.
And the last one, if consists of. You said if consists of. Yeah.
Yeah, it consists of.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it consists. Yeah.
Okay. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Great.
so much.
And
welcome.
thank you, Sasan, thank you, Arash, for being
You're
so
welcome.
serious about it. I do admire you. That was great.
Thank you.
You make this class special, to be honest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Karim, what about you? Did you come up with any point?
No, actually, I don't have any question, and I just write some sentences about this, and
Okay.
I don't have any question. Thank you,
Alright.
Arash and Doctor.
You're welcome.
All right. So, what about the a kind of conversation on the topic? Not now. Now we can forget about the form, which was almost perfect, and it was clear that Arash had spent so much time on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So about the let's say topic or theme of the conversation or lecture. Do you have any question to exchange or any
Yes.
further
About the topic,
information?
you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question, and I want to ask Arash that.
Mhm.
Is it correct to have different techniques for communication with different people? I mean, imagine that you want to deliver a speech or in a conference which is completely scientific, or you wanna, for example, talk about some business people, and you wanna catch the attention of some people about the specifications of a product. Do you think that the hierarchy of different techniques should be different in different, for example, meetings?
Context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You mean, yeah? I think it should be because of the fact when you, as you mentioned before, when you are speaking with someone, for example, you want to speak with a child, and you have to change your approach in order to make him or her understand. And you're completely correct. We should change our methods in order to get a good feedback. And let me correct something in your pronunciation. I think you said
Scientific.
business. And yeah, scientific, it's business.
What?
Roles change now.
Yeah, you pronounced business people, it's business.
Business, yeah. And also
Business.
scientific, yeah.
Thank you. Business,
You're
yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, it's not
It's
business.
business, short.
Yeah. It is pronounced so weakly.
And scientific, yeah.
Yeah, I think you said scientific, but it is scientific. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. You're welcome.
And
Yes,
just one more question.
sure.
And you said control stress. Do you
Yeah,
have such
stress.
collocations? I mean, Arash said something like this.
Arash is right about the, let's say, context that in which you are giving a speech or conversation. You need to put yourself in their shoes. For example, if you're giving a lecture in front of educated people, semi-educated people, illiterate people, you need to just consider that context. For example, there are some illiterate people in front of you, and you just start this your conversation. In order to address some acrimonious remarks, they don't understand what you are saying, so they cannot communicate with you. So we need to just consider the audience, education level, age level, even gender, and so many other specifications. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So, do you have any further question?
No,
Doctor,
thank
I
you.
have one.
Sure. Yes, Karim.
Do you believe communication techniques should be taught in school?
Yeah, good question. Arash?
Yes, why not? Because of the fact it is important and it is essential to children to learn how to communicate with each other in order to achieve their goals and in order to have a bright future.
Okay, thank you.
And
You're welcome.
Sasan, how do you respond to the same question?
I think it's really important to learn communication skills in different countries.
People need to communicate. For example, if you are so professional in one, let's say, branch of science, but you cannot communicate with people, so it's clear that you will not be able to succeed in your expertise. So you need to open channels of communication. It's a must. And this is a skill that is learnable. Some people are somehow taciturn or reserved and introverted, so they need to just, or shy and diffident, they don't have enough confidence, so they need to just be taught. I think they need to just develop some techniques, and maybe they cannot do that on their own, so they need to be taught and educated.
Okay, thank you, Doctor and Arash and Sasa.
You're welcome. Thank you for raising the question. All right. Any other point?
About the previous question?
About this topic being discussed?
As a matter of fact, I would like to add something, and I just wanted to know if you agree. That's if we want to speak, for example, with a musician, or for example, speak about communication or anything. For example, to an engineer. Is it important to use some examples, some technical examples of that specific major? I think it is very helpful. For example, when we want we are going to talk about communication with a musician, we can use some examples of music in communication.
Yeah, good question. I have my own answer, but let's listen to Karim and Sasan's answers first.
Sure.
Sasan?
Honestly, I didn't get the question exactly.
The question is that if you want to have a successful communication with a person, for example, a person specialized in one specific branch, do you need to develop some technical terminologies and terms in order to have a more successful communication, or is it necessary? Do you think it is necessary?
I think it depends on the conversation or communication that you want to make. For example, sometimes you want to persuade someone to do something for you. So if you try to start talking about something that he's interested in, the outcome would be better. Yeah, and I agree with you in this perspective.
Yeah, definitely. If it is a kind of business conversation and you want to just call their attention to you and to your own share in that business, you want to create a good impression on that person, it is actually important to develop some knowledge about the specific field of study. For example, some musical terminologies, and it's important so that the person would be interested and impressed, and communication actually just takes place in the successful way. But you, as a matter of fact, in everyday's life, you cannot you cannot be a jack of all trades, because people these days, life has become so complicated, and you cannot be a musician, a painter, and also a NASA agent at the same time. It's impossible.
Yeah, you're correct. Thank
Birds
you so
of a
much.
feather flock together. You need to just specify the person with whom you want to communicate, and yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think
Yes.
you're right that we cannot be jack of all trades, and maybe it is not possible to have understanding of knowledge about different topics and fields. But I think sometimes it is a nice idea to have different, for example, knowledge about some subjects, but at a specific amount. I mean, it is not necessary to be really professional in that field. And just by having some, maybe a little
General
a bit information, general information, you can be let's say, more attractive people among other communities, and so it is more easy for you. It is easier for you to socialize with different people from all walks of life.
Exactly. Yeah. For example, if there is a social gathering and people, you can make some prediction what they are going to talk about, and in order to just blend in with the people, partakers of the conversation, you can develop some information, even if it is not according to your specialties. All right, so let me just stop recording.